Hello, welcome to the Create and Savor YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate removing the skin from a fillet of fish. This is steelhead trout, but this process will also work for salmon. First, you're going to run your fingers along the center, upper, and lower areas of the fish to check for bones. Apply just enough pressure to feel if there's anything poking through. If there is, you can remove them with tweezers or clean pliers. Next, you're going to examine the skin. The skin is edible as long as all of the scales have been removed. If so, you can cook with the skin on. To see if you have scales, use your finger, front or back of a knife, and scrape it along the skin. Do you hear that sound? That means you have scales. If it's just a few, remove those and you can proceed to cook with the skin on. However, if you have scales all over, it's better to remove the skin altogether. It's too tedious and messy to try to scale a fillet of fish. So the side I'm going to show you now is the belly. That area is a bit fatty, and some people remove that. For what I'm going to do with it, it's not necessary, so I'm going to leave the belly on. You're going to need a knife that has a thin and flexible blade. A fillet knife or a boning knife will work best. I'm using a fillet knife. At the tail, which is the most narrow end of the fish, you're going to make an incision between the skin and the flesh, angling your knife downward toward the skin and away from the flesh. The knife I have is not long enough to cover the width of this fillet, so I'm going to finish removal with my hands. You're going to open the incision you made and put one hand beneath the flesh and above the skin. The other, you're going to grip the piece of skin that you have. It's going to be slippery, so I'm going to wrap it around my finger a bit to give me a stronger grip. Then you're going to put the hand under the flesh flat against the board, and you're going to push it away from the hand holding the skin. And you're going to pull the hand that's holding the skin in the opposite direction of the hand lying flat. And you're going to use enough force to push your hand all the way to the end of the fish, removing all of the skin, separating all of the skin from the flesh. Ideally, you want to keep your fillet intact, so leave as little meat on the skin as possible. That looks pretty good. Put that aside. You're going to take a moist paper towel and clean up any stray scales on the board. You can also use a moist paper towel to get any scales that may have fallen onto the fish while you're removing the skin. Make sure to wipe gently in the direction of the grain. You can dab it as well. I'm going to change gloves in a moment because these are covered in fish scales and I don't want to transfer that to my clean fillet. So we're going to transfer this to a sheet pan that's lined with parchment paper. So when you pick up the fish, you're going to need to be delicate. Fish is fragile, so you don't want to grab it with your fingers poking at the meat. You want to slide your palms underneath the fish and have your fingers arch backwards and move it gingerly to the sheet pan. Now we can move this board out of the way. And you're going to check one last time for any stray scales to make sure none of those followed your fish to the sheet pan. You're going to look front and back. If the meat has been misplaced a bit, just sort of move it back together and smooth it over. In the next video, I'm going to show you a recipe for this that any of the imperfections in the meat will not matter at all. So just push it back together and smooth it over. If you have no stray scales, then you're done. You have a skinless fillet. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, and follow for more.